Welcome to WISEdash for District, the Perkins Dashboard. This is Jessie Sloan, CTE Data Consultant. We're going to be going over Snapshot versus Current View, Perkins Dashboard, Cohorts, Career Education and Coursework Dashboard, and the Topics Dashboard. Career education and CTE data can be reviewed in the Snapshot dashboards. Snapshot dashboards are those with frozen data from very specific snapshot dates. This snippet shows you how to navigate to the snapshot dashboards. Depending on the size of your screen, sometimes there is a navigation caret on the right-hand top corner. There usually is, but I just have to point it out that it's kind of hard to see. Before we go on to anything else, I just want to orient everybody that there are how-to guides right here. They're usually short little presentations to just help you navigate and set up your dashboards as well. And then also please pay attention to your build dates. That way you know the last time that something in your data was updated and sent to WISE. All right, so this little caret, we would click on that and it would open up to this menu, and we're going to pick snapshots, and then that'll open up to this menu. And right now I'm going to pick Perkins. So for this is what you would look at next. You're going to see Perkins is way over here and it's in blue so we can remember what dashboard we're on. I just want to make sure everybody knows that you can filter your data by using this little caret, and then you have a drop-down menu and you can apply different filters. On this dashboard, there is two tables. There is a current view that's always in green, and the last snapshot view is always in purple. And you can change dates in those tables, but they will just always open up to green current view at the current year, and snapshot view will always default on the last time we had a snapshot. Okay, so in this example, I'm showing you all the crosstabs. And I pulled over the non-traditional occupations crosstab because I'm looking at Perkins and I just want to see how many of my concentrators are reporting in any non-traditional occupational field. That's all I'm looking at. So I'm going to pay attention to the yeses. This dashboard only reports students that have been identified as concentrators or participants. So if you're not a student that has been identified as either, you're not going to populate in any of the tables that you see in this dashboard. I am paying attention to yes, because this is going to only count concentrators. And it only counts concentrators for non-traditional occupations because that is coming from IAC codes, and we only use IAC codes at the concentrator level. So I'm going to ignore the no's, because those aren't concentrators that are in non-traditional, they're not. And I'm going to ignore these dot and underline because those are either participants or they might be some errors. Okay, so we're paying attention to only the yes. And then you can choose to use any of the other crosstabs to disaggregate your data. All right. So this is an example of I am looking at IAC here, and IAC codes are used to identify your concentrators when they take 2 or more courses in your career pathways. So you could use the cluster crosstab. However, I want to pay attention to how many pathways are reporting, and that's why I am utilizing IAC. And then I also use gender and race just so that I can disaggregate the data. So here's what I'm seeing. In this example, I'm seeing that in the IAC code 4699, titled Construction Trades, I can go down and I can see that I have 1 Hispanic female, 1 Hispanic male, 1 white male. I have 3 students in that pathway. And this is an example of setting up the CTE graduates, which you would be using for your CTE graduate follow-up reporting. And so it's really easy. All you have to do is go to the last snapshot, and I have an old date here. So go to the last, it'll default on the correct year, but you're going to go to the purple table, pull up CTE graduate, and then you're going to pay attention to the yes. So if you have the right access in WISEdash for district, you would be able to click on that yes, which will bring you up to another screen. And then you can download an Excel document with a list of your students that are CTE graduates. Okay, so this is an example of looking at career pathways by cluster. I should have updated this slide. It's a little bit old. This career pathway crosstab has been renamed cluster because that's actually what it's reporting is the cluster. These are clusters. Okay, so if I want to look at how many career pathways I have in each of my clusters, this is how I would set it up. Okay. So I do want to simplify this for schools in that DPI did create a simplified IAC code list of one IAC code per cluster because I am questioning, like in hospitality and tourism at this school, do you really have this many pathways? Because typically you only have one or two, typically one. Okay. All right, and in this example, we are looking at our CTE concentrators that have taken any work-based learning. So this is how I set it up. I had my CTE concentrator crosstab, and then there's a crosstab called any work-based learning, and I'm going to pay attention to my yeses. And it just, if you want to look at concentrators, you would look at add it here and look at your yeses. So I would disregard the no's because this would be no, they're not concentrators and they're participants, probably. Okay, so pay attention to yeses. All right, so in this screen, this is more for your reference to do this when you need it, but you are able to create cohorts of students. So it's grouping students together and then saving them in a group so that you can apply that group to another dashboard. And so I'm giving you all the directions on how to do this. So in this example, I want to save my CTE concentrators as a cohort because I want to use it in another dashboard. Like I want to use it in the ACT dashboard to see how my students, my concentrators did on the ACT. And so I'm setting up my concentrators. I'm going to yes. And then when I click into yes, it brings me to a new window that has all the kids, and then I check all of them, and then I'm going to go to the actions and create a new group and then appropriately name it. You can create cohorts for anything, and you can select any student you want to be in your cohorts. But this is how I use it when I'm looking at concentrators. Typically for CT concentrators, I would just create cohorts for my 12th graders because that's how the Perkins accountability indicators are written. They're based on those 12th grade concentrators. And this is an example of me using my cohort. Here's my cohort that I made, using it in the ACT dashboard. So when I go into the ACT dashboard, I can go to filter student cohorts. You'll see these are pre-made ones that DPI makes, but you have to pay attention to the year. Sometimes that gets hard for me because I want to go back multiple years and make trend lines. So I like to make my own cohorts and know who the kids are that are in them. And you can see that my cohort popped up here. So then I select it and then it would show me the 2021 CTE graduates and how they did when they took the ACT as 11th graders. Okay, so this is an example. I've switched dashboards And now I'm in the career education and coursework dashboard because I want to look a little bit more specifically at work-based learning and industry recognized credentials. So you can't see any industry recognized credentials in the Perkins dashboard. So I'm coming over here and I'm looking at it. I could choose to apply my cohort filter, or you can see right here, there's a CTE concentrator tab that I could have also put on here too. I just didn't because I didn't want to clutter it up. But I could, and I should if I was looking at concentrators. Otherwise, this is going to show you any student 9th through 12th grade that is in work-based learning or an industry recognized credential. So right here, I just added certificated program status because I wanted to pay attention to who is completing or not completing some of these programs. Okay, so in this example, I'm looking at current data for that reporting year. I'm in the student participation count view because I'm looking at report card stuff. And I want to pay attention to my advanced credit type, which is dual enrollment in AP courses for this school. This school does not have International Baccalaureate. So advanced courses is going to include AP and IB. And dual enrollment is going to include just dual enrollment. And this is how I look at it if I want to predict my next report card. Okay. And this slide is about a different dashboard. It's called the topics dashboard. And I like to pay attention to this because of CTE participants come from students that have completed and passed one CTE course in each reporting year. And also because Perkins also covers career pathways, and career pathways have a sequence of CTE courses. So when students take 2 or more courses within that sequence, they become a concentrator. So I do want to look at my CTE courses. So you would look at courses through the topics dashboard and then going to coursework. And so in this example, I just picked agriculture because it's at the top of the list. And I picked the subject area, and then you would click on the screen to let it populate. And then I want to make sure all my ag courses are reporting as CTE. And the way that I do that is I pick the subject area, I look at the course name, and then I pick CTE course in the pull that cross tab up. And that way I make sure all my CTE courses are reporting as CTE. You might find you might not have all of them reporting as CTE because right here I see some no's. There's a no right here for natural resources, and there's a no right here for this agriculture comprehensive course. And for some reason, there's a no mixed in with the animal production science. I don't know why. I do actually know why. The answer is because for some reason, there are sections or the entire course does not have a CTE roster code. And so students in those no courses are not going to report as CTE concentrate or CTE participants. So somebody needs to go back into the course master and make sure those courses that say no, they're not CTE, get the roster code changed to the CTE version so that we report our participants correctly. All right, here are some resources for you. The CTE data resources page is the best page for all of this information. I have a career ed and coursework data quality check demo page that helps you set all this up and look at it. I have a blank one so you can jot your own notes down. The Wisconsin Guide to Implement Career-Based Learning Experiences is going to give you all the definitions to work-based learning, and there's a WISEdash course user guide too. Thank you.